Today on Review This Thing, we're going to review this thing, the Tethrd Saddle Hunting Kit. This is Robbie with Review This Thing. I've been bow hunting for most of my life and I absolutely love it. In the past several years, I've seen a lot of people transition to saddle hunting. The idea of a more mobile hunting setup and the opportunity to stand and relax at the same time was very appealing to me. I've been talking to Adrian at Tethrd for quite a while, and he talked me into this setup to use during last deer season. This review is going to be a little bit different because Tethrd has so many different options, but I'm going to be reviewing this Phantom Saddle and the Predator XL platform. I also hope to give you a little bit of insight on saddle hunting from a beginner's perspective. I hunted in it quite a bit this last season, so I'm ready to tell you what I think. Let's review this thing. You know we're going to give you the facts. First up is fit. The Phantom Saddle comes in regular and extra large sizes, basically depending on your waist. I'm a size 34 waist, so I got a regular saddle, and it seems to fit me exactly as I would expect. Although there was quite a bit of figuring out on where to carry the ropes at, where I wanted it to sit on the saddle, and basically just how to get everything to fit me. When I first got it, we did quite a bit of practicing in the backyard so I would know what I was doing. But on my first sit, where I was actually waiting on deer to come by, after about 30 to 45 minutes, the saddle seemed to be digging into the back of my legs, but with some adjusting of the saddle and where the bridge was fitting into the comfort channel loops, I was able to get comfortable again. That's one thing I'll point out here in fit. There's quite a few adjustments that you can make on the saddle itself to help you get and stay comfortable. So if it doesn't seem to fit just right whenever you first get it, play around with it before you just give up on it. As far as the platform goes, I actually used the Predator and the Predator XL just to see which one I would like better. I don't know if it's just because I've hunted in lock-ons for so long. Either way, I liked the larger size platform and it made me feel a lot more comfortable. Because I was able to get comfortable in the saddle, make the adjustments that I needed, and I really like the XL platform, I'm going to give fit a 5 out of 5. Now, is the Tethrd Saddle Kit as advertised? The first thing that they advertise is that it's the most mobile and packable hunting setup out there. Now, if you don't know much about saddle hunting, you use the same sticks to get up the tree that you would with a lock-on setup. Basically, the saddle serves as your climbing harness and your tree stand. And in your platform is where your feet go and you just stand there and relax. Now here's where I would add, knee pads are definitely of great benefit here. When you get tired, you can just relax, sit down in the saddle a little bit and let your knees rest against the tree. If you don't have those knee pads, it's not quite as comfortable. I use some that I already had from Lowe's, but Tethrd has a really nice pair on their website. Obviously more lightweight and probably more comfortable. As far as being mobile, if you're a hunter, you know there's a lot of different tree stand options out there. The least mobile version would probably be a big box blind or a ladder stand that's a bit more of a chore to move and you're probably doing in the off season. Next up would be climbers, which gives you a lot more mobility, but they're usually heavier and you need a pretty straight tree and preferably a tree without very many limbs. After that is the setup that I've mainly used, and that's a lock-on stand. The lock-on setup that I've been using is about 16 pounds and has a much larger footprint than this. So as far as staying mobile, a smaller footprint and lighter weight would make it easier. As far as packable, I've found it easy to wear this into the woods, have all my ropes in the sys hauler, and have the platform strapped to my pack. So carrying the whole setup into the woods is definitely not a chore. The next thing they advertise is that you can hunt any tree. If you can get your sticks on it, then within reason, you can hunt that tree. There's adjustments on the platform to help level it out, and as long as it's not too crooked, you can be comfortable. Now Tethrd says you can hunt with a bow or a gun 360 degrees around the tree. I haven't quite tried gun hunting out of it yet, but I did practice. I only really felt steady enough to take a shot while using the tree as a shooting rest. But if you're willing to use the bridge as a shooting rest or shoot offhand, I could see how you could get pretty close to 360 degrees for a shot. But as far as bow hunting goes, I would say this is mostly true. When I was practicing in the backyard, I was able to shoot at most any angle that I wanted to. Once I got into the woods and was actually trying to shoot a deer, things changed a little bit, as they usually do. I felt like when I was on the side of the platform, it wasn't secured to the tree good enough, and I've got to do a little bit of work to really get that figured out. I did read a customer service reply that said Tethrd has several videos on how to really secure the platform. I'm going to make sure that I watch those before this fall. I also realized that with anything, with practice, it's going to get better. Based on how mobile the saddle setup is, obviously easily packable, and that you can hunt out of all kinds of different trees. But remembering that saddle hunting in general has taken me quite a bit of practice to get really comfortable, I'm going to give, as advertised, a 4.7 out of 5. Next up, construction and durability. Tethrd is an American company, and they make many of their products right here in the United States, including the Phantom Saddle and the Predator platform. It's easy to tell that this is not Tethrd's first saddle. They put a lot of research and development into their products. From the material they use to make the saddle lightweight and strong, to the bridge rope, which they say is one of the strongest pound for pound fibers on the planet, you can tell this is a quality product. The actual saddle material is vented so that it keeps you cooler on those early season bow hunts, and it has a wider, easy cinch belt that makes it more comfortable. One of the main things I really like about it is what they call their comfort channels. Essentially, it's ball bearings sewn into the loops where the bridge attaches. This allows for a lot of adjustability. As I mentioned, that's where I made the changes to keep the saddle from digging into my legs. I do want to mention one thing about the construction of the platform that I think could be improved. At first, when I strapped it to my pack and was walking through the woods, I noticed that the metal hits against each other, and it definitely sounded kind of clinky. But there's a pretty easy fix with this tape that quietened it down quite a bit.
There we go.
It would be nice if it came with a little bit of padding there already, so you didn't have to put that on afterwards. As far as durability, I've only had this set up for one season, but I haven't noticed any wear spots or anything that would need to be replaced on it. I do have one friend who's hunted out of the Tethrd saddle since they started 5 years ago, and he said his looks a little bit more worn because he's used it quite a bit, but there's no damage to it that would need to be fixed or replaced. Tethrd does have a 30-day return window and a 1-year warranty, but on the website they say this is a case-by-case basis, so I'm sure if there's a manufacturer's defect, they'll take care of you. Overall, I've been really impressed with the quality of this product, and it's easy to see that they've put a lot of development into it. So for construction and durability, we're going to give it a 5 out of 5. Now for testimonials and reviews. We were able to find several reviews on Tethrd's website, but pretty much every review on their website is positive. And the main thing that people gave praise to was Tethrd's customer service. We did find just a couple of complaints though, and I'm going to tell you what they are. The first one is that it's expensive. To get started with a saddle, lineman's rope, tether, platform, and sys hauler, it's going to run you about $600. And there's all kinds of other accessories on their website that could put you easily into the $800 to $1,000 range. Now, low-end lock-on or ladder stands are going to run you at least about $100 a piece, and you're going to need several of them if you want to stay as mobile as you could be with this setup. Climbing stands are usually going to be somewhere in the $200 to $250 range, but like we mentioned, they limit your trees, and they're usually heavier to carry around. Now, there are cheaper saddle setups out there, but as we mentioned in construction and durability, you can immediately feel the quality of this product. Another person said they had some difficulty moving around a tree to shoot. Based on my experience, I would agree a little bit with that because it's taken me quite a bit of practice to get comfortable shooting. The last complaint that we found was that it makes quite a bit of noise when walking. If you've ever hunted with me or talked with someone that has, you know this is one of my pet peeves. Thankfully, I've been able to secure all the parts to my saddle system while I'm walking, because if not, I wouldn't be hunting with it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to give you the score that we found. So for testimonials and reviews, it's a 5 out of 5. And finally, should I buy this thing? Here's where it always gets interesting, and you know the answer. It depends. As far as saddle hunting goes, if you mainly hunt private land and already have all your stands set, or if you really like hunting from ladder stands, then saddle hunting obviously is probably not for you. I think saddle hunting is perfect for the public land hunter that may be wanting to hunt a different tree or a different setup each time, or has to walk several miles to get to where they're trying to hunt. And if you're gonna saddle hunt, I think you should totally check out the Tethrd saddle kit. My lightest lock-on setup weighs in right at about 16 pounds with the stand, lineman's rope, and harness. This Phantom setup with saddle, ropes, platform, and knee pads weighs about 9.5 pounds. So it's saving me about 7 pounds based on all the features that we've talked about that shows their attention to detail, the quality of the product, and their excellent customer service. I would highly recommend checking out the Tethrd saddle kit. Just know, as with anything new, there's going to be quite a bit of a learning curve, but don't be afraid to reach out to us or any of the Tethrd crew with any of your questions, and we'll help you get situated. So because I've become much more interested in saddle hunting and love the quality of this product, I'm going to give Should I Buy This Thing a 4.9 out of 5. Hey, thanks for watching our complete review of the Tethrd Phantom Saddle Kit and the Predator platform. While you're here, watch a bunch of other videos, give them a thumbs up, share them with your friends, and comment below to tell us what you think. Make sure you check out our website, reviewthisthingtv.com, and connect with us on social media at Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram.